Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. First things first, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. What?
Yes, I agree completely. This is Alan Lee. I'm Keith's friend and sidekick, which is not an easy thing. And I just want to emphasize that. And please like us. We put it up on YouTube. And I know a lot of the comedians out there watch this show, enjoy the show, and I just don't understand why it's so hard to push the like button. We've been talking about that for some time, Keith and I.
For the folks at home, Alan's really going high heels on this because Sam, the director, just got done yelling at us. And I always share it, and you don't, so you're trying to make it sound like you do.
But he made the point that you didn't share on Facebook Live.
No, he made the point you don't share on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Well, both of us, but you were included. Now, you want to get him back in?
No, I don't. I'm just saying, you're throwing me under the bus here.
No, not at all.
The point is subscribe, rate, and review.
Yeah.
Right?
But yes, and all the, you call them rifters.
The rifters.
Yeah, with these rifters, and I'm trying to get it out in the air here. They don't push that like button. You know how many times I push the like button for other people?
Whoa, Alan Lee has some things to say to you, rifters.
I'm on fire.
He's on fire.
No, but do you like other people's podcasts and push the button? And I do, right?
Do you?
I do. I push my thumb. Look at my thumb. See that? See how sore it is from pushing the like button for other people?
When was the last time you had a nail trim?
Oh, no, I'm going to.
God.
No, I'm going. I did this myself.
You look like fucking Wolverine.
Well, you know what? There's a friend of mine in Arizona. I couldn't believe it. He grew his thumbnail out like about 4 inches. I said, why'd you do that? You know what he said to me? He said, if anyone fucks with me, he says, you see this nail? He says, I'll cut them. He's a nice guy. No, I swear to God, it was a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
It scared me.
I've known you for 20 years, and now I'm scared.
No, this is someone I know. He's a friend.
It would have been funny if he said it. The ladies like it. But cut him is funnier. Okay, I see. Anyway, subscribe, rate, and review to the show, Apple Podcast. Say good things about me and say whatever the fuck you want about Nailboard guy over here.
I'm invincible. I have a skin as thick as Fort Knox.
We'll find out.
No. I roll, baby. There's some of the shit I put up with from you.
I am a bit of a prankster. But I have a stand-up special. It's released now.
That's right.
Did you watch it?
Congratulations.
You didn't even fucking watch my special?
I'm sorry, no. Honestly,
oh my God!
You told me it was on.
It's on Mad Records,
Mad Records.
Sony, and
iTunes.
iTunes. Buy it on iTunes. I think it's audio on iTunes. But if you buy
it,
if you buy it on iTunes, it puts you in the top 10 or whatever. And after every 200 or 500 copies you sell, you get a raise. It's pretty cool.
So you want me to purchase it?
Yeah.
How much is it?
$10 on iTunes.
Oh, okay. You're always fleecing me on these things. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
What do I do with it after I buy it?
You just rate, subscribe, review, kind of like the podcast you don't do.
But do I? Once you buy something like that,
right.
it means that you intend to listen to it more than once?
If you want to, yeah.
It's a
great fucking special.
I don't think I have to listen to it more than once.
Well, you see that. I'm very proud of my special.
No, you are, and I promote it.
You know what?
Everybody go out and get Reza Riffs. His new album. It's on iTunes.
Wait, now you're making it sound like it's our special. It's my special. What the fuck? Got to call our guests, so we got to finish these opening remarks real fast. I'm also on Celebrity Voicemail, which you can book me.
That's right.
I'm trying to get you on it. And
No, I swear to God.
I'm trying to get you on that because you're a celebrity.
Yeah, sure.
But, if you fucking say, oh, hey, Hillary, this is a 9-inch nail guy, and I'm going to cook you for $20, I don't think... You know what I mean? It's a celebrity. You do a shout out. You don't know what I mean.
No, I understand that, but you kind of try to like I'm not going to talk about people politically. I'm not going to do it.
Not Clinton, just the name. Oh my! God!
You're a little clever.
You're weird.
No, I'm very careful.
We should introduce our guest because Now it's like, holy
He's
Lord.
probably hung up by now.
With all your comments.
Well, don't leave yourself out.
Okay, he's a writer for Saturday Night Live. He has a new movie that he wrote. My phone literally just called The King of Staten Island, which Judd Apatow and Pete Davidson. Sorry, Alan Covert just texted me. Did you remember Alan Covert?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to like read it, but anyways, King of Staten Island, which is coming out on demand, and he writes for SNL. He also has a brilliant character called Brickstone.
That's right.
You did a lot of research on that, right?
And
the great Dave Sirus. So I'm going to call Dave, and then I'll introduce you guys. Just don't like be like, "Hey, David is out," like
just what he's probably he's already left. He's on in the subway.
I'm calling him right now.
He's probably going to go eat dinner now.
Oh wait, call number. It's working.
Nice.
Hello.
Hey, Dave. It's Keith Reza.
Hey, David. It's Alan Lee. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. So, is this the best way? Is this over the phone work for you guys?
Yeah. This is perfect.
No, this works fine. We prefer a physical presence, but we're not too proud.
That's cool. Yeah, because I can do phone, Zoom, whatever. Whatever you guys need.
Zoom.
Your number was actually already in the phone book, so you've obviously done a podcast at the station within the past 2 or 3 months.
Oh, cool. That was his number.
I have no idea which that would be.
No, see, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a phone book. It says Dave Sirus, and I didn't answer you, but. Well, anyways, I got to introduce you to the trusty sidekick, Alan Lee. This is Alan Lee, Dave Sirus.
Glad to meet you, David.
Hi, how we doing?
Good.
Do you like being called David, or do you like being called Dave?
Oh, boy.
I'm just Dave.
Jesus Christ. There's no creativity. Dave.
You called him David.
It was a conscious decision.
Oh, no, my name's Keith, and you know what people like to call me is Kiefer. And it's like
Kiefer?
Yeah, it's like it kind of pisses me off. It's like I'm not Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, that's not a name.
Yeah, like I don't know where you get Kiefer off Keith.
You don't.
You definitely don't. So anyway, you had some interesting points to make.
Oh yeah, we were talking up here, and I didn't realize because the station is right by a psychic station, and then I was listening to a podcast you did earlier on the way here, just to do my research, and it said that you did psychic stuff. Is that true?
Yes. What psychic station is it?
It's what is it called? I didn't see what it's called. It's like a palm lady give us $20.
Yeah, no, it was it started with the premise. Well, the story was that he ran. It was hypnosis, and then
I don't know if they do hypnosis. It's a psychic thing underneath the station. Don't act like an idiot.
No, I didn't listen to that.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I used to be a supervisor at a psychic hotline that was out of L.A. So yeah, I was like a manager of the customer service area, and that was a pretty big phone psychic company.
Oh, it was a phone psychic, so
cool.
It wasn't like an in-person psychic.
No, it was like one of those. It was one of the biggest like people calling in with like TV commercials at night type stuff.
Yeah, I remember those.
Well, can you share us an interesting story? Like, do you believe in that stuff? Because Alan Lee believes in it, and I don't.
Well, I can tell you for an absolute fact that working at that psychic hotline is why I do not believe in psychics at all.
There you go. See, that's expensive.
Part of the job was having to get sample readings. Mm-hmm. Like I would talk to one of our psychics because they were at home, and they all like presented themselves as quote unquote actually psychic, because otherwise it would be like illegal if we were like, we want you to lie. But if they are lying to us, it's not really our fault,
Right.
That's right.
So I would get like a reading, and it's funny because I would talk to people who were calling in, because my thing was I felt bad about what we were doing. I quit the job, not long after I realized how bad it really was. Mm-hmm. But that like people would say, well, I'm trying to figure out if it's real, and I've spent all this money, trying to figure it out. And it's like every time I talk to a psychic, I tell them my name is Bruce. I'm a coal miner in Ohio. And they immediately say, like, yeah, totally. I can see that. Right. And you're having trouble with it. Like, the confidence with which they respond to my lies immediately shows you there's no power here at all.
Well, I feel like an idiot because maybe I'm the one who's I've never called a psychic, but I've gone to a psychic when my grandfather died.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Yeah. And
Well, that's the problem. Is they only exist to take advantage of people who are either grieving
that's
or
right.
anxious about the future.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, the palm readers.
What happened with when you went?
Well, I thought it was going to be like Ghosts. You know, Whoopi Goldberg was, going to transform into my grandfather or something. That didn't happen.
Well, I mean, what happened with you was probably you got a cold reading.
Yeah.
Which is where they basically did the same thing to you that a cop does during an interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
They're just reading you. They're just picking up on visual cues. They're doing what mentalists do. They're
That's
just
right.
learning how to react. And mostly, if I pick up the phone and I say, "Hi, I'm Joe," sometimes a psychic, the first thing they would say is, "What's her name?" Now, if I was some random Yahoo, I'm hooked now.
Right.
I'm so hooked into this guy right now because if I say, "Oh, I don't know what you mean, I'm not dating someone," be like, "Your mother, though? Your boss?" Like, her means somebody.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's like actually, I kind of want to call a psychic hotline and just play with them, Kind of like.
Oh, if it wasn't for the money,
It's expensive.
really fun.
It'd be an expensive hobby.
Well, you could just call your credit card company and say, "I didn't make this call," and you could.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, no. I'll do
bank.
one better than that. Pretty much any psychic hotline, if you call, you can get your money back for one call.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Oh.
Most psychic hotlines, if you call right away, if you call and say, "Hey, I was out of my mind, I made a horrible mistake," or "Someone else stole my credit card," whatever it is, you can almost always, like, you can't get multiple calls refunded, but you
Right.
can definitely get the last one you made refunded.
Interesting.
Oh, that sounds kind of fun then.
We could go to different.
Yeah, that's a
different.
trade secret.
There you go. This is what this show's about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Dave, you and I also have a good Facebook buddy in common, Kurt Ryan. He's another comic who's on the spectrum who I love very dearly.
Oh, yes. Well, we all have something in common, don't we?
Have you ever seen his stand-up?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's really good. It's almost as good as mine. Have you ever seen my stand-up?
No, I have not. I actively avoid stand-up. That's the thing. I have to see so much of it anyway
Interesting.
that I don't. I mean, if I'm on a show, if I'm booked on your show, I always feel like, I almost always take the time to sit and watch all the comics and to stay after my set.
Right.
But if I'm going to do that, I am literally never going to watch any other stand-up. I don't have to.
Right. Yeah. There's comics who just go out to hang out, and it's like I'm not into comedy. Like, no offense, you're a great guy, but I'm not into networking. You know what I mean? I just want to tell my jokes and call my psychic hotline.
Yeah, no, I don't like that aspect of it. I don't like the popularity aspect of like having to treat comedy like you're at a high school party.
No,
that's never been my forte.
Yeah. So you don't do stand up for that, but is that because you're more of a writer,
Yes, I've done better in writing, but I've done lots and lots of stand up.
Yeah. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like
No, I know.
Yeah.
Look, I pay my bills with writing much more so than stand up. So yeah, I'm a writer.
Yeah.
But I still up until this happened, I was still doing regular shows. I was still, on the road opening, featuring for Pete Davidson, and I was doing, pretty much whatever in New York, LA, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was never I wasn't going to stop doing it, until, the world stopped existing.
Well, it seems like that's what's going on right now.
Right. I'm going to say, I would be doing. In fact, I was going to shoot a Netflix special in April.
Oh, were you?
What?
Yeah, I had a special taping as part of Netflix as a Joke.
Uh-huh.
So that didn't happen.
Oh, I'm sure it'll happen when everything comes back, though.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, that festival was going to be so goddamn big.
Yeah. I used to tour with Norm, and Norm told me he was gonna do that last time I talked to him, and then I figured
The festival.
Yeah, I figured they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to reschedule, but I have a feeling they're going to reschedule rescheduling again.
Yeah.
Because they were going to reschedule for later this year, and I don't think they're going to have a giant festival.
How is it like?
soon.
How's it like? You're in New York right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. I happen to live in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood. I'm the only secular Jew on my block. So I live in an area that's especially, let's say, attention-getting because I happen to be rocked. Not that I would throw a rock. I'm saying I'm a stone's throw from one of the famous funerals that got a lot of media attention that happened in this area.
Oh, what funeral?
It was a block and a half for me.
What funeral was that?
Well, it was just some rabbi's funeral in my area, and this was when they were still holding funerals, and that the city was trying to get people to stop because, look, it's New York, and there's a lot of different groups of people that sort of were ignoring the stay-at-home orders. So.
That was a news event. Yeah, that was on
What's
the
that?
news. That was a news event. I remember that about the funeral. And there was a
news event?
It was a news. It was in the news. You heard it.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of them. There was a lot of them.
Oh,
this
okay.
was one of, not the biggest one. A week after that, there was one with 2,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about it is that like my neighborhood it's Orthodox Jewish, but it's not Hasidic Orthodox.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different sect. So the people in my neighborhood have been good about quarantining. It was only a fairly small number
Mm-hmm.
of the Hasidim that were in New York who were defying it. But the problem is there's so many Orthodox Jews in New York, and they all, if you're not in the community, they all look like they're basically wearing a uniform. So people think that like all the Orthodox Jews were doing something when really it was an unacceptably high number, but certainly not a majority.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Wow. I mean, Alan said he saw it on the news. I didn't, but maybe because I don't watch the news. I've been watching the news a lot during this coronavirus thing, though.
No, you're not a news hound. I love the news.
News is. I've always enjoyed it. I used to enjoy it more, but yeah, no, there was a big problem in New York and in Jersey with just funerals that just would not happen.
That's right.
And yeah, you shouldn't make it about like the fact that they're Jewish, but you also shouldn't be like pretending that literally anyone having a funeral with hundreds or even thousands of people at it is doing something wrong, no matter what they look like.
That's right.
Yeah. I guess the point of my question was, how are you doing? Are you safe though? Because I know like it's a big hot spot, you know.
Don't worry about me, Keith. Let's keep talking about the Jews.
What a segue.
That's the best.
No, I'm fine. Look, I'm fine. I'm just trying to take care of my elderly family members who, need to be kept inside.
That's right.
Because they will absolutely die.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting it out, doing, staying at home, cooking more,
Good.
dyeing my hair, whatever I can do.
Oh, what color is your hair right now?
Right now, it's kind of a blue-gray.
Oh,
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Right now it's a nice dark blue. I'm gonna keep screwing with it because hey, look, we got to fill this time.
Yeah. Well, you know what I've noticed about people who dye their hair? Because like I was a big Dennis Rodman fan growing up, and I noticed he never dyed his hair blue.
Never.
I don't recall.
Never blue. It was always like green and yellow and pink.
The yellow, I remember.
Yeah. But never blue. So you're the first person I can honestly say.
Yellow used to be big in the 90s.
Yeah.
Big doing
yeah.
stuff.
That's right.
And I'm not talking like bleach. I'm talking yellow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So, you write for Saturday Night Live. How do you get that job? Because I always wanted to be a writer for Saturday Night Live.
Well, I got that job because I was already Pete Davidson's writing partner before he got SNL.
Oh.
So
nice.
basically what happened was they were really happy with the job we did at the Justin Bieber roast.
Mm-hmm.
We wrote pretty much all the jokes he did at the Bieber roast were ones that Pete or I wrote. So they're really happy with that. So they hired me as a writer at SNL. My main responsibility was pretty much what I would be doing anyway, which was co-writing Pete's update features so that he wouldn't have to burn his stand-up for it.
Right.
And I was only a staff writer at SNL for the year 2016, but Pete and I are still writing partners, so the update features that he does for SNL to this day are still almost all of them co-written by the both of us.
Oh, that's really cool. So
yeah. But I was only there for the 1 year, which was a good year because it was an election year. So that was like by far better for me because that's the kind of stuff I prefer writing sketch-wise is like topical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Pete Davidson is the best thing on Weekend Update. Right now.
Thank you. Thank you. We felt
it's
like this has been really good. This actually, the quarantine. I feel like he adapted to that in a very good way comparatively. Like it's definitely a good environment for him because he doesn't have to leave the house. He can just like do his own thing. And I thought that like the videos he's been doing and I of course co-wrote that update that he did from home with him, which we were really happy with. So I'm glad it's coming off well.
And then you also wrote a movie with him that's coming out in a couple weeks. It was supposed
I think so.
Yeah, it was supposed to get a theater release, but due to the circumstances, it pushed it to on demand. The King of Staten Island.
Yeah, it was going to come out. Oh, sorry.
I was just naming the name of the movie for the folks at home.
Oh, yeah. It was going to come out June 19th. Yeah, it's called The King of Staten Island. It was going to come out June 19th, which, of course, you know as Emancipation Day, right. Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. Has nothing to do with the release date. But I did notice that. I pointed out to people that, like, this is already a day, so let's, show some respect. But now it got moved a week earlier to June 12th.
Interesting.
And
awesome.
That'll be, but yeah, so instead of the theater release we were going to do, it's just going to be on demand. So, I guess like iTunes, Amazon, your cable, whatever you get, whatever, like new movies. It's like how like when all this started, like you could get Bloodshot and Invisible Man at home. Right. Even though they were in theaters for like a week.
I saw The Invisible Man in theaters, and then the next day it's on demand because they closed the theaters. I was like, oh, God, I wish I just waited a week.
That's true, but also, that movie was awesome.
So
I thought that was really good. So I was like, I was glad that they didn't lose their money.
Right.
Because I actually thought that was a really good movie, especially for the fact that they spent nothing, and then it ended up being really profitable. Because, like, if you notice that movie, there's no one famous in it besides Elizabeth Moss, which is not easy to pull off.
Yeah. I mean, is she really even that famous, though? I mean, I've never heard of her.
She's the only person in the movie that I like recognized.
Yeah.
So,
but
I'm just impressed with that, to be able to get a movie, like a wide release without, like, any major stars.
Yeah.
That was a good goddamn movie.
I didn't think it was terrible. I just didn't think, like, it was worth seeing in an IMAX when I have an IMAX thing at my house, Like, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing about theaters, though, is that, like, theaters might not ever come back because because theaters have been waiting for this to happen, where people are going to figure out, why am I going to the theater at all?
Right.
Oh, there's
so, like, for people in movies, it's a very scary moment because while, a lot of industries are suffering, movies are one of the industries that, like, doesn't have to come back.
I know, and I'll be so sad if that, because I love the theater.
A point about the news on this subject, and I think you guys find it interesting. I forget which state, but a company wants to bring back drive-in movies.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And
so that's awesome.
Yeah, and with the concessions
there's
and everything.
There's no drive-ins.
Yeah.
The problem is there's not that many drive-ins, and those drive-ins are not going to be still, like, probably used very much once this is all over.
True.
So, like, if in 2 years it's completely eradicated,
then
it's not going to be it might not be a great investment because the market's going to drop for it. And I know somebody who's putting on stand-up shows right now in Jersey in drive-ins, which I think is great. Just the idea that people are adapting and just trying to make the best of the situation.
Well, remember we actually did, Keith and I did, stand-up at the Grauman's Chinese Theater. In the the annex, remember that? How wild that was!
No, but
We were on. You were in front of the screen, and then they had. You remember it was called Insiders.
Oh yeah. We did stand up at a movie theater. It was the worst experience doing stand
Now,
up.
are you referring?
I
are you guys
liked it.
referring to-
What?
When you say did stand up at Grauman's Chinese Theater,
You know
you
the.
mean you were like wearing costumes, getting pictures taken with people?
No.
This guy
This
named
guy,
Bob.
he was at the Melrose, at the Improv on Melrose. He was a manager.
Yeah, this guy named Bob Marley got kicked out of the Improv, so he
you didn't have to
decided.
throw that part in.
No, I know Bob.
Yeah.
I know
Of
Bob
course,
already.
he's a small world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bob.
Alan thinks I'm going to offend people, but if you talk truth, it's not going to offend anybody.
Finish your story.
Okay, so Bob ran this room at a movie theater called Inside Clubs or whatever, and he
Insider jokes.
yeah, whatever. And this was like 6 or 7 years ago, and I did it, and it was terrible.
And I did it with you.
because you opened for me.
Well, that's true. But I mean, I thought it was a hoot because I'm a big movie freak and Hollywood history and everything. To think that I would be doing a bit inside the annex to Grauman's, it was the funniest thing I'd ever thought. Just standing there was funny to me. And I had a decent set.
That sounds fun. I haven't been to Man's Chinese Theater since I saw the last Harry Potter movie there alone
God.
on Mushroom.
Wow.
Well, you gotta take mushrooms if you saw the stand-up show, man. It was weird. But that was another question I wanted to ask you. Is like, because this is your first movie that you actually got published and sold, and you filmed it, and you're expecting to see it in the theaters, and now you're not. Like, does that kind of bum you out a little?
I mean, I certainly cannot compare myself to what many people have lost due to coronavirus, but I certainly did lose something unique to my situation, which was, I was going to be the writer of one of the main movies released at South by Southwest. Then I was going to be going to Tribeca. Then I was going to be going to premieres and parties, and basically just enjoying the event, enjoying that kind of finally feeling comfortable in front of your peers moment that you work your whole life toward and now is gone. But it's all about. But I'm still very lucky to have a movie get made. But I lost an enormous amount of things I wanted.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to to feel like I accomplished something, because we can all be happy with ourselves, but you really need other people to validate you.
Yeah, that's true. Because I've written a couple scripts, and I feel validated that they're done, but I feel like they're terrible because they're not made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, this was the first movie that actually got produced of mine, and obviously, it's a giant production. I got to Judd is the writer and producer, so I mean, the writer, director, and producer. And I got to co-write with him and Pete. So, no, it's a giant deal, and it's a real privilege that I got to do it. But this virus happened at the exact moment that I was about to start benefiting from that situation.
Yeah. In
terms of being able, I was going to we were going to premiere at South by along with the Beastie Boys movie and RZA's movie. So, that was a lot of very big moments that I was looking forward to that. Instead, I was cooking Cornish game hens alone in my kitchen.
Yeah.
So
no,
it definitely sucks.
Yeah.
In that way, yeah.
But so when they filmed the movie, did you go on set at all? Did you get to hang out with Steve Buscemi?
Oh yeah,
Huh?
I was there every day, all day. So pretty much, Judd's process is, and anyone who's worked with him before has kind of seen this. He pretty much is rewriting everything all the time. He's constantly having you reinvent things and rethink things and just trying to go with whatever is going to be the best thing in that moment. Mm-hmm. So, pretty much every day, me and the other producers like Ricky Velez and Judah Miller were rewriting scenes, punching up scenes, pitching new jokes, getting frustrated that those weren't the jokes that ended up being used in the takes, and writing different jokes. And it was, it's a very fluid process. Judd directs like a guy who really knows this world, and he can just kind of, just go and improvise, and he wants the actors to put things in their own words too, and have it feel very natural. So yeah, every day was a bunch of lessons, was long, it was really cool just getting to be on the set, getting to see every aspect of like the movies being made, because a lot of movies, they don't let the writers on the set.
Yeah, that's
right. Comedy, you should always have the writer on set. It's a horrible mistake. And in fact, that explains a lot of times how these great comedy scripts turn into bad movies, is when there's a disconnect between what the writer intended and what the director puts out. Whereas with comedy, you really want to have the writers as well as other comedians you want to have to bounce off of. And so Judd knows that. He's used to working with like newer and different comics. So yeah, I was very lucky. I would have been devastated if this was the kind of thing where like, get the writer off the set, which is like most dramas.
Yeah.
They don't want the writer there to confuse anyone about who's in control, because it's the director.
No. That's actually very true about the writers on the set, because I wrote a film, and I wrote with another comic of mine, and we sold it, and then they paid us to fire us, and then they rechanged the entire thing. They only kept like 2 or 3 sentences from the original script.
Yeah. And that's what happens a lot. And it happens for a lot of reasons, mostly because, not every executive knows how to make a movie. Some do. Sometimes you get producers and studio people who have really good notes and make things better. That actually, believe it or not, I've seen that happen many times. But, I've seen good scripts get decimated by people who are sure that they can turn it into something it's not.
Right. How long did it take you to write this one?
There's a very easy way of me remembering exactly how long we've been writing it, because the first big meeting to discuss what this movie would be about was in Ariana Grande's condo.
Oh.
Meaning it had to, so I can tell you it was definitely sometime around September of 2018, probably September, October, something like that. Probably around that. And we just started basically talking it out, because one of the previous scripts Pete and I had written was not really similar to this, but also involving just sort of using Pete's real life and his relationship with his mom, and the fact that his mom, was a widow at a young age and didn't date for a very long time. And it was a sort of story based on that. And then we just decided to, and that movie never got made because that was with Todd Phillips, and he ended up making the Joker instead.
Oh.
And that was also a very different script. It was nothing even remotely similar to what we ended up doing. So, that was basically, that script was something that Judd had read and said, and even though the movie didn't get made, Judd was like, oh, he found it very interesting. And we had already had a relationship with Judd. We had talked about writing something years earlier that never materialized, and we worked on a little bit. So he liked this movie about Pete's mom, and then we said, all right, let's just talk about Pete's life and really just try to figure out what's a fictional story that we can create that uses the real emotions behind who Pete is and his story. Right. And that was late 2018. And then we had, I guess maybe a little bit earlier than that, when we first started talking, probably like summer of 2018. And then we started filming it in June of 2019.
I saw the trailer, and I'm just gonna put the using my autism powers together. A lot of Judd Apatow movies, like the main star is usually like the best character in the whole script, and like it's like, oh my god, like the Big Sick, the Indian comic, best
Cameo.
Best interesting character in the whole script, and he's an all-star now. So what I'm saying is, I think this script, Pete's gonna like really shine into a huge movie megastorm.
Yeah,
I would think so.
We certainly hope so. But I will say, I think people are going to be very surprised by people like Bill Burr, who I think Bill is, when you watch the movie, Bill has a good shot at stealing it too, because he's so he is such a good goddamn actor.
He's very good.
That was one of the shocking things because it's Bill Burr. No one knows an actor he is, and he really approached this with the seriousness of wanting to of a true actor, like somebody who's really. He did not come at this like an actor who like a stand-up just trying to get an acting job. He was very impressive. Bill is a genius, and we have Marissa Tomei, who that there you get someone who's just got an incredible career, who can just plug in and just be on, and not just act, but like add things. Like I definitely learned a lot watching her too. So no, I mean this is a great cast, honestly. Like it really is. Like it's got a lot of comics. We really filled out the cast with a lot of like comedians, like Mike Vecchione and Lisa Traeger, and just a lot of people that are just really talented that you may not have seen in movies before. I don't know if you know Derek Gaines. He's really funny in this. Ricky Velez is a big part.
Ricky
of the movie.
Velez. I love Ricky.
Yeah, we know.
But, yeah, Ricky's one of my best friends. He's an incredibly funny guy. I mean, we really think he's one of the people that like this movie is going to really catapult to a new place. But no, seriously, watch people are going to be freaking out about Bill. I think Pete did a great job.
Yeah.
No question. I think, but like everyone's, it's really focused on him. No one's really thinking about Bill's performance yet because they haven't seen that. And honestly, he is a fucking beast.
I mean, I know how good of an actor Bill Burr is because I was a huge Breaking Bad fan.
Oh, yeah. Well, you mean Bill Burr?
He barely did anything. He was barely in the show, but he's so memorable.
Yeah, he had a very short...
but he was still in Breaking Bad, so I know he acts.
That's one of our favorites.
I've been shocked that he hasn't shown up in Better Call Saul.
Oh,
he's the only person that you're like, where is he?
Yeah,
that's true.
I haven't caught up with Better Call Saul. I guess I just feel like it. I don't know. Everyone goes on and on about it, but I guess I still can't watch something like that without Jesse. You know what I mean?
Oh no, you gotta watch it. It's so goddamn
you
good.
You should. And the sequel is
it's so worth it. It's basically what if they were like you can't stop making the show. This is what it would be.
All right, I'm gonna start streaming it now. But Alan has a funny Bill Burr story from when Ron White. Do you remember that?
I followed Ron White at the store once.
Yeah. Dave, you would love the story.
You'll have to refresh my memory on that. Is that when we went to the Veterans Administration, the Veterans building on Vine?
Yeah, and you saw him and Ron White smoking a big cigar.
Oh, yeah. I was caught up there, and I thought I was get a chance to speak. We were in the green room, or what they call the lounge back there in the back, and I thought I'd get a word in edgewise, but the smoke from Bill Burr's cigarette just completely put a wall between he and I. And then to make things interesting, Ron White offered me a joint, and I'm not like you or you people. I mean, you see a joint. I mean, I got to get out of your way. You might hurt me, and so I got to smoke a joint with Ron White in between the smoke screen that Bill Burr had put up with a cigar. Well, that's the story.
That's pretty fun. Bill loves his cigars. I smoked a cigar on set once, and then was told, "Jesus Christ, Dave, you can't smoke a cigar in front of the whole staff. Get the hell across the street." And I was like, I'm sorry. Are we not on a movie set?
Like, I thought this was the fun part.
Yeah. We didn't have we on the last day of filming, Pete hired this Cuban guy who rolls fresh cigars for you.
Whoa.
That's funny.
And he gave them out to the cast. It was really funny. The funny thing is, though, I don't know if you know a comic named Nico White. He's also a big cigar guy, and he got really mad at me when he found out that that a lot of us were like saying to the guy, like, "Hey, this is such a great cigar, thank you." Could we just have the papers though, like without the insides?
Oh yeah,
because like you don't get that much opportunity to roll like a blunt the size of an actual parking meter.
I know, right?
No, that's right.
A couple questions before we head out. Do you have any plans on writing a Brick Stone movie?
That'd be interesting.
A Brick Stone movie. I was years ago. I was asked about that. and I did start an outline. I did actually write an outline, but it was such a, like, I knew that it would have to be a very different, because you can't just do interviews, the Brookstone interviews where I would, interview horrible people and make them look stupid. I had a thing where I actually wanted Brookstone, and I'm never going to write this, but it was going to be a thing where, like, he was this reporter desperate to try to, like, make a name for himself.
Right.
That ended up putting out a fake moon landing hoax with the intention of trying to create a story, and then the idea being that he starts harassing like Westboro types as like a way of like it sort of accidentally happens and people. He starts like chasing that, and the idea being that it was supposed to. I started making this like giant metaphor about sensationalism in the news, and I just remember being like, at the end of the day, it's like any movie where you're just trying to like create a fictional reason for why a real thing happened is going to suck. You know what I mean? Like it would be a movie where it's like I'm making a fictional account, but the end of it would be where I really was in real life, and I was like, this is just dumb. Like I just thought it wasn't going to work because it just seemed like I was retrofitting it. I definitely want to do Brookstone again. I really do. The problem is, one, it's a lot of work, and because I write for Triumph being so Comic Dog, almost every time there's been an event that Brookstone would work for, I end up writing for Triumph instead. Like
that's a great. Triumph is fantastic.
Like that.
That's funny.
So like it's the same writing. It's the same jokes.
Interesting.
That Triumph or Brookstone would be doing. And the other reason is that Westboro Baptist Church just has completely lost their relevance. They're nobodies now.
Right.
No one gives a shit, which is great.
It's a little dated.
When I did it, they were actually like famous, and it was a means of diminishing them. And now they're just diminished.
So Brookstone won.
There you go.
I mean, we all do. But no, I really would like to do. I really would like to do Brookstone again. I think there's obviously so much you can do in terms of like making fun of people that deserve it. But it and I feel like this is a bad answer, but it's so hard.
Right.
It's so much work. and it is also, like I said, it's like every time there's been a chance of doing it, real work stuff has come up.
Yeah.
So. But definitely never going to do a movie. I don't think I should ever try to make a movie out of the character. I definitely don't want to do like a smosh movie where it's like you're just, you know what I mean?
Kind of like It's Pat.
You're just trying to,
where like the character, and then you put it in a movie, and it just kind of kills the character.
Well, Pet Detective
Which movie?
Kind of worked.
It's Pat, Julia Sweeney.
Oh God, that was one of the worst goddamn movies of all time. It's Pat is such a hilariously poor job of making a movie. I mean, it is unquestionably the worst SNL movie.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I thought it was good because I love Julia Sweeney, and Dave Foley, but
you know what? I love them too.
Yeah.
I am big fans of both of them.
But that movie was terrible.
Yeah, well,
that is such a, and I love Julia Sweeney. She's one of the sweetest people ever. She's so talented. I also love Kids in the Hall. But good God, was Pat a just terrible film? Who wrote that? Who wrote Pat?
Julia Sweeney.
I have a terrible feeling that whoever it is someone I know.
It was,
I said all that out loud.
It was Julia. She wrote it.
Alone?
She might have wrote it with someone else, but she definitely wrote it.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, that's what as I'm saying this, I'm like, okay, I really hope it wasn't Robert Smigel. There's no way it was. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, who did I just insult?
Well, Dave,
But, I mean, yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, man.
I was just going to say, you can love someone and talk about how bad their movie is. I mean, have you seen Master of Disguise?
Oh, my God. Terrible movie. Dana Carvey, though. I love him.
Oh, that's right.
You know that
Very
they wrote that for
movie.
Jim Carrey?
Did they?
Yeah.
No, that's impossible. I thought Dana Carvey wrote it.
Dana Carvey did write it, but he wrote it for Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey said, no, this is terrible. And Dana Carvey's like, all right, I'll do acting again.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a footnote there.
That is a spectacularly bad movie.
Yeah. But have you seen Dana Carvey since? I mean, like that's how bad it was.
I've never actually met Dana, but I mean, it's not like we saw much of him after that. The only thing about that was, the story of the turtle scene, right?
Turtle.
But I bring up the turtle scene.
What's the story?
Well, it was in all the commercials when he was like, he's in that turtle costume and he's saying turtle and just overdoing the bit. That whole scene was shot on 9/11 right after they found out.
Really?
Yes, that is a fact. They had a moment of silence, and they shot the turtle scene.
Wow. I did not know that. That's a...
Yeah, and then he makes a reference to 9/11 during the press junkie, and it's the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, that's... Ouch. I did not know that.
That's interesting.
You learn something new every day, kind of like how you learned it was offered to Jim Carrey first. I can't believe he wrote that for someone else. Yeah.
That's so nuts.
So
everyone, honestly, it's one of the best horrible movies you can ever watch. It's so worth it.
Let's watch it after this.
Well, we should all write Jim Carrey and say thanks for turning it down. Well, Dave,
it was no number 23. So,
well, where can the folks at home follow you?
Dave Sirus, but it's spelled Sirus. Dave Sirus, like virus. That's the name on anything, Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And for the love of God, pay for the movie.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Yes.
And when this whole thing's over, man, and you come back to LA, let's get coffee. I would love to take you out, man.
Hell yeah, thank you. Sure, I appreciate it. Yeah, I can't wait to go back to the real world.
All right, Dave. Well, your movie comes out on June 12th, you said, not the 19th, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
The King of Staten Island, written by Dave Sirus.
See it soon.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Have a good night,
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, that was awesome.
Enjoyable. A lot of fun.
So, that was interesting that Master of Disguise was filmed on 9/11.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. I mean, did you ever?
No, I had no idea, but that's one of those things where it's like showbiz, the show must go on. That would be really hard to figure out.
No, there are many stories like that.
What's weird is we ended it on the turtle thing, but you kind of, that green jacket, it kind of looked like a turtle. Yeah.
In here. Yo, look at that. See, that's psychic.
Yeah,
that's from the psychic part of me.
Yeah, you look like a teenage Alan Turtle.
Oh, how sweet. What a sweet thing to say.
They were named after painters.
Yeah.
Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, Alan.
No,
Lee.
I know something.
Paint?
I do.
You do.
I do.
See,
I did.
I knew that.
I did some.
You know how I knew that?
How?
Because I'm psychic.
There you go. And you didn't even have to pay anybody a telephone psychic. You did it all on your own.
That's the best advice I've ever heard. Like, honestly, guys, after you listen to this episode, call a fucking psychic. Get your fortune. Go all out, man.
And call them back.
Yeah, and then call them out and be like, Alan Lee stole my fucking card.
That's right. I don't have the card. I'm really sorry about this. Can you figure out where my card is?
Yeah,
you're a psychic.
Stupid psychics didn't know that it was a stolen card.
Yeah, but it's not cheap.
No.
Wasn't it? It was a minute. It was by the clock, right? And
it's like it's like phone sex.
Yeah, that's right. I knew we were going to go right to that.
We were going to go blue.
Just blue. And it didn't even take a blink of an eye. But you're right, though. It was like that.
Well, we got to wrap it up, Alan. Yeah. Anything real quick? Anything you want to plug?
No. I'm writing some stuff, and I'm happy. In fact, this Corona thing has kept me in the house. And I swear to God, I have a clean house. I have my 2 desks cleared off. I have all my materials. It's unbelievable because there was no choice in the matter.
Right.
Didn't you have that experience? Being because you do a lot of other things, and so you weren't home all the time.
No, there is no choice in the matter.
But anyway, it's there's a positive to everything.
And the positive is June 12th, Dave Sirus's movie that he written, The King of Staten Island, with Pete Davidson, Bill Burr, Steve Buscemi, is coming out on demand.
On demand.
And you guys should
It's like 4 platforms.
Yeah, 4 platforms. I think it's going to be on all the platforms right now.
Oh.
So support Dave, follow Dave, And guys, if you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review. Give us good feedback on the show.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. And I'm on Celebrity Voicemail.
That's right.
Book me. I'll say whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
No filter.
No.
I'll ask your girlfriend to marry you. I'll say happy birthday. I'll tell your boss to suck hey, lemonade. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I have no filter. I'll say what it is because you'll book me. And I'm also going to be on Cameo soon in a couple weeks. I got approved for Cameo.
Wonderful.
That's good. That's like Celebrity Voicemail, but
sure.
It's Cameo.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's the same
You told
thing.
me about that.
Yeah. And then my stand-up special is on Mad Records.
That's right.
It's called Keith Reza Make It Happen.
There
Download it everywhere, all the platforms. If you download it on iTunes, help me get in the top 10. I'll love you forever.
Beautiful. And what more could anyone want but forever love?
Exactly. Alan, I love you, and I'll see you next week, buddy.
Beautiful. What can I say?
All right, guys. Peace.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.